But I feel the need to say something that's been on my mind for a while. The significance of the Word. The significance of the Word itself should cause us, regardless of where we are, cause us to rejoice that we can gather around His Word together. And so, whatever passage we're in, whatever the application, the Word itself requires some authority. This time that we spend together, here's what I want to say. This time that we spend together, if you leave here saying, I don't know what that sermon was all about, I don't know what that passage was all about, I can't believe we spent all that time talking about that, I can't believe we went into that passage. Let me tell you something, our time itself is instructive to our hearts. In other words, regardless of the outcome, the time that we dedicate to the Word shapes who we are, and it instructs our children and the people around us. So if we're crazy enough to spend the amount of time that we're spending in the annals of the dark moments of Joshua, and people might think, well, they're just nuts. Really, what's happening is this. This is the metaphor that I was thinking of. I used to go to car shows with my dad growing up, and a great mentor of mine loved vehicles and loved old vehicles and loved going to car shows. And we would go to these car shows, and you'd have, and sometimes there would be a competition, and they would rate these restorations. And so you'd look at one and you think, wow, that's a beautiful restored car. I could drive that thing. I'd love to drive that thing. I'd love to drive it up a snowbank even. So you'd look at the one, and that got like 5th place. And you're like, what in the world is the difference between that one and this one? And you look over here, and this one gets 1st place, and it looks just as shiny, just as beautiful. And then you look under. They got mirrors under the car, so you can look under, and they both look nice underneath. But the difference is, this guy or girl took the time to actually take every bolt out and paint even between where the metal would go together. Or this person would use the very same paint, the same company paint that it was used when it first came off the production line. And this guy just painted over everything. It looks nice on the outside, but if you were to take the carpet up, which they would do, they would peel things back to take a look, or look behind the radio to see if it was painted behind the radio, or things like that, you would notice differences. Whereas this one might have taken a year, this one took 10 years to restore. And though they look the same, this person has dedicated hours and hours, and it is a true restoration. And sometimes we want to just study the Word so that it looks good on the outside, and oh yeah, we're all about studying, but we avoid passages where it's between the metal. We don't really need to go there. And I'm here to tell you, every hour counts. It all matters. Every piece matters. Every dot matters. And if for no other reason than we are a people that actually believe that this is authoritative. You see? It's important. It's like this. The disciples, when they were in the presence of Christ, when He opened not His mouth, though He didn't have an expository truth to share with His disciples, the moment that they were with Him was valuable enough, wasn't it? So being in the presence of the Master Himself, Jesus Christ, is enough. And whether He speaks or not, that's besides the point. Those years that they spent with Him were so valuable. Every moment was valuable, and so is every word in Scripture. Unless we don't believe that all Scripture is God-breathed and profitable.